Hello and welcome to the 10th edition of Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund presents Voyage, partnered by ET Now. Voyage was initiated in 2014 and over the past decade, global experts, policymakers, economists and industry stalwarts have graced the stage and made it a landmark event for the Indian mutual fund industry. The theme this year is Investing Opportunities in a Dominant Bharat. A. Balasubramanian, Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Aditya Birla Sun Life AMC, welcomed the August gathering and shared his thoughts on this year's theme, Investing Opportunities in a Dominant Bharat.
Voyage has become a brand in itself in the last 10 years. We have ensured that we remain connected with you, irrespective of the external environment. I am happy that we are back in a physical format after 3 years of conducting the same event digitally. This year, our focus is on the investing opportunities in a dominant Bharat. India has been a beacon of hope and resilience, even as the world deals with economic slowdown and geopolitical conflict. This has been possible largely due to the initiatives taken by the government, driven by our visionary Honorable Prime Minister, Sri Narendra Modi ji, to reform, perform, and transform Bharat. Right from leveraging the power of technology, enhancing the ease of doing business, and fortifying infrastructure, among others, from strength to strength, we are emerging as a fast and, in fact, the fastest growing major economy in the world. This makes me to continue to remain optimistic and bullish about the India growth story for decades to come. While you will hear more from the eminent speakers about India's growth and structural drivers of that growth, I would take inspiration from our Honorable Finance Minister, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman, in the interim budget speech, and discuss about Aditya Birla Sun Life GDP. This GDP is nothing but emphasizing our focus on growth, deeper commitment towards development, and building strong partnership. Reflecting on the last 3 decades, Aditya Birla Sun Life AMC has experienced exponential and holistic growth while remaining anchored to the values of Aditya Birla Group. Over the years, we have significantly increased our asset base, broadened our reach, embraced digital advancements, and successfully expanded geographical footprint. As you may know, we are one of the first AMC to set up our office in Gift City, Gandhinagar, akin to our current presence we have in Singapore, Dubai, Dublin, Mauritius, among others. Gift City going forward will anchor overseas investment into India in order to cater to the growing needs of NRIs and foreign investors. In fact, we not only launched a few funds in this direction, but we are also in the process of launching new funds that could act as a channel to bring NRI investment and also help domestic investors and family offices to invest in offshore funds through the LRS route. Expanding our business across the length and breadth of our country remains one of the core areas of focus for us. Our strategic roadmap of establishing operational footholds in all 543 parliamentary constituencies has helped us reach the last mile customer across the country. This vision has also played an integral role in achieving financial inclusion, thereby contributing to the nation building. With the rapid adoption of digital technology in all spheres, we have embraced innovations, updating our digital assets with the cutting-edge features. This ensures seamless connectivity for both investors and distributors. We have expanded our digital assets with an API ecosystem. This includes innovations like Active Savings app to tap savings account balance into liquid fund at ease. A salary receipt to help corporates to offer this facility to employees to choose to subscribe to SIP every month from the salary like a PF deduction. eKYC for quick onboarding of customers. Turbo STP to sail through market volatility and suggest a systematic transfer into equity. And other value-added products and services which can help our partners to provide better customer experience through our tech platform. The Indian mutual fund industry still has a lot of ground to cover when compared to developed economies. However, it is my firm belief that given the increasing awareness and investors' confidence, the industry will witness accelerated growth in the years to come. We have been closely connected with Bharat, the length and breadth of our nation. We understand Bharat to mark our deep relationship with the nation, both as an observer of its tremendous trajectory, as well as a partner in growth. We have embarked on a journey to take you close to the ground of the rising Bharat. As part of Knowledge Initiative, we intend to cover different parts of the country, a little known areas of Bharat, and bring to you a story of transformation and economic evolution as we move forward, re-emphasizing the dominant Bharat theme. May we all enjoy the fruits and growth as India cements its place as a dominant economic force. We at Aditya Birla Sun Life AMC and Aditya Birla Capital will always remain committed to investors and partners to the goals of enriching lives, creating wealth, and inspiring trust.
Voyage 2024 aims to illuminate the different investment possibilities in a transforming Bharat. Shaurya Doval, Director of India Foundation and Managing Director of Torch Investment, focused on how India transformed since freedom and how India will achieve $30,000 per capita income by 2047.
India, that is Bharat, as we envision that for the next 25 years, as we envision what will be Bharat in 2047, when that midnight clock strikes and India achieves 100 years of independence, we ask ourselves this question that, is India indeed the right train as investment managers? And I will argue and put besides you the argument that yes, it is. No doubtedly. There is no place on this planet today which is better positioned to take its global position in 25 years from now as Bharat. Bharat is home to about 140 crore people. Today we assume and are guaranteed that India is safe. We will all go back home and be with our families. We will plan for our children. People will invest in these mutual funds because they foresee a future. But is this natural? Is this just, can we take it that this was bound to happen? And you have to understand a little bit of history and look a little bit around yourself, and you will realize that this is not a miracle that happened on its own. It was the hard work of a lot of people over the last 75 years that is weaving us, that has woven us into a nation. How does the world view us? Because we live in a world of relative countries, relative identities. Well, we start our journey on August 15, 1947, and what does the world look at us? The world looks at us as we were. It looks at us as slaves. That the Americans come to us in 1947 and tell Nehru that, you are poor people, you die of food and hunger, there is not much you can do. Let's do one thing. You come, we will look after your security, we will look after your welfare. You become an agriculture nation. We'll provide you fertilizer, we'll provide you seed, you've got some land, you are farmers, you become an agriculture land, but everything else we'll take care of. We'll give you the steel, we'll give you the machines, we'll give you the things. You just become a vassal nation or a small nation that you can support. And many countries in this world, including, I have given an example of our neighbors, not because of any other reason, decide to do that. India, at that lowest point of its existence, says, no. The leadership of this country has a belief in the people and says, no. Despite the problems, we'll start our own trajectory. Nobody comes to our help. We start our IITs, we start our steel plants. As a matter of fact, we even start our non-aligned movement. Small as it, we collect a small few nations like ourselves and start giving our voice to the world, saying we are neither with the Russians nor with the Americans. We want our own journey, and we will make it happen ourselves. Today on this same piece of land, not an inch land more, 140 crore people living, 140 crore mouth to feed. Not a single person dies in India, God forbid, of hunger. And not only 140 crore people, we have got 15% more food than we can consume. We are the only developing nation that has more food than we have. We don't have places to store. When COVID came, we had our own food, we had our own medicine, and not only for ourselves, we were actually providing this to the rest of the world. That is the journey that India trajectory does in 75 years. India becomes independent in 1947. The GDP of India in 1947 is $30 billion. That's all it is. 30 crore people, GDP of $30 billion. Today, in 2024, we stand at about $4 trillion. So what we achieve in the last 75 years, we pretty much are going to double it in the next 10 years. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that, today, this is what India is seeking from people sitting in this room. Everybody in this country has played their roles at different points in time. And I think now in the next 25 years, the baton is coming to people sitting in this room. Today, India's future depends on whether India grows at 10% or India grows at 7%. And this 3% will change the lives of our coming generations. The benchmark for a developed world today is $12,000. We are at $3,000. We now are aiming for $30,000. We don't want to just pass the benchmark. We want to take every Indian and make him go past that $12,000 and hit the $30,000 mark. We have a challenge that this is our opportunity as Indians to transform the future of our people and of our country.
If you really believe that Bharat is going to be the third largest economy in the last 7 years, right? And a GDP is going to grow at, say, 7% plus. I think then you will see a lot of opportunities emerging. I think corporate India growth we have seen, which has been very strong in the last 2 years, I think will continue to grow at a double-digit rate, right?
Market में basically तीन चीज़ों का संगम है, right? You got earnings, you got liquidity, and you got sentiment. And the interplay of that is pretty much what determines the medium-term structure of markets, right? Now, if I take the first pillar, that of earnings, the last 3 years we have actually seen earnings double.
Welcome back. Up next is the interactive session with Mahesh Patil, Chief Investment Officer, Aditya Birla Sun Life AMC, and Harish Krishnan, Co-CIO and Head of Equity at Aditya Birla Sun Life AMC. The session was conducted by Editor-in-Chief of ET Now and ET Now Swadesh, Nikunj Dalmia.
30 years wealth management, 30 years of CAGR return, which is superlative. Let's understand where we stand now. They say good news and good prices, it rarely comes together. Right now the news is great.
Right.
सब अच्छा लग रहा है, कुछ खराब नहीं है. But when the news is great, prices are bad. What is the way forward for the audience here? What should be the message from Birla AMC and what should be the takeaway for them?
You're right. I think last 1 year has been unprecedented, right? The kind of returns, what we have seen. And it's been climbing the wall of worry. I mean, we had all the concerns, what you can say last year, right? We had the Russia-Ukraine crisis, which was earlier, high interest rate, high inflation. And despite that, we have seen fantastic returns. Obviously, markets have gone slightly ahead of fundamentals, okay, is what we can guess from that. But yeah, you're right, sentiments are at its peak, but at the same time, a lot of skepticism is also been there, right? If you look at a lot of foreign investors, they have been selling, right, last year. And it's been the domestic investors, okay, which we have seen strong inflows over there. But I think when you look at the market or even look at the stocks, the way you look at it, a stock becomes expensive, right, because of price appreciation. But I think it's more about backward but forward looking. What is the story likely to unfold going forward? And that's where is the India story. I mean, the theme of our event is Dominant Bharat. If you really believe that Bharat is going to be the third largest economy in the last 7 years, right, and a GDP is going to grow at, say, 7% plus, I think then you will see a lot of opportunities emerging. I think corporate India growth we have seen, which has been very strong in the last 2 years, I think will continue to grow at a double-digit rate, right? And if that is the case, then markets, while they might consolidate a bit in the near term because of the last huge outperformance, but I think you will still make the long-term returns what the markets have given, right? In the last 30 years or 20 years, if you look at markets have given around 13% compounded, I think which is a great return which one can expect. And I think there will be some challenges. I mean, we are entering into a period where U.S. economy, right, globally, you could see some slowdown. And to that extent, there could be some hiccups. But clearly for investors or who are taking a longer term view, I think this is an exciting time to be in here.
Rish, I'll start with a very simple question, a question which in a sense pops up on our social media, a question which everybody asks me when we are walking into this, Voyage symposium. अरे market बहुत चल गया है, गिरने वाला है, संभल के रहो. There is a general view that, okay, the run-up has been extraordinary, it's too good to be true, and there is bubble and trouble in the market. Can I say to this audience confidently that the Birla House view is that there is no bubble, there is no trouble?
I don't think that we are in either camp that, we should be very worried about, nor should we be in the camp that, we should be greedy. Market में basically तीन चीज़ों का संगम है, right? You got earnings, you got liquidity, and you got sentiment. And the interplay of that is pretty much what determines the medium-term structure of markets, right? Now, if I take the first pillar, that of earnings, the last 3 years, we have actually seen earnings double from about 6.5 lakh crores of total profits. Today, we are close to about 14 lakh crores of total profits, right? And if you really look at the journey of what the market caps have tracked, it's been pretty much in line. So it has not been something very ecstatic to say that, there is a significant amount of overvaluation. That's point number one. Second point is ki, as Shaurya Doval also mentioned, that our share of GDP in the world is likely to keep going up. Today, we are at close to about 3.5 to 3.6% of world GDP. And we definitely do think that we should be punching way above that weight in years to come, maybe close to about 6, 7, or maybe even 8% of GDP over the course of the next decade or so. At the end of the day, the source of growth in the future comes from the activities that companies do today. And what is the one activity that they have to do to ensure that their growth profile remains sustained is CAPEX, right? Now, over the course of the last decade, CAPEX was in neutral gear at about 6.5 lakh crores. I'm talking about the listed companies, right? I told you that profits and cash flows are at 14 lakh crores. CAPEX has now moved to 8 lakh crores. Okay, after 10 years of no CAPEX, we have started to see the first signs of CAPEX moving to 8 lakh crores. This 8 lakh crores potentially can become 10, 12, 14 lakh crores in this cycle, and that will sow the seeds for the next growth cycle. So as long as we are clear that, the corporate balance sheet is in good shape, there is a growth profile, yes, there is an exuberance in sentiment in the near term, we have to be mindful, and the only solution is asset allocation to have a longer patience rather than expecting fireworks every 6 months.
Mahesh, in last couple of years, the AMC equity schemes did underperform the market. Now they are coming back. Why did they underperform, and what gives you the confidence that the comeback here is real and you will continue on that track?
Yeah, so we had a wonderful stretch, okay, from 2012 to 2018, right? And I think there was a period in 18, 19, okay, where we had a cyclical downturn as any AMC, okay, which has seen, it was more of a cyclical downturn. And then post-COVID, we were kind of recovering back, and that's the time we decided to really repivot ourselves, okay, relook into it, because whenever you see a period of underperformance, say for around 2 to 3 years, it's good to introspect and see, okay, what are the changes which you need to do, say on people, processes. So the first, on the people side, we strengthened our team, right? We had some changes in the fund management. We gave a growth to a lot of our people, senior analysts, fund managers, okay, who had been with us, and got a good mix of experience as well as young, okay, people, and they came with a lot of passion and managed some of the funds, and we've seen a good turnaround. In fact, in the last 1 year, if you look at, quite a few of our funds have seen a good turnaround, right? Also, I think the idea was really strengthen our research, because in the last few years, we've seen that there are a lot of new companies which have come into the market, either through new IPOs, and our coverage of universe had kind of increased substantially, right, to around 400 plus stocks. And to do justice to that, because important really to reduce the coverage per analyst. And that's the time we increased the analyst team. Now we have around 15 analysts, okay, which cover across the breadth of the sector, and getting more deeper into it, right? and into depth so that we can have a larger conviction and ownership in those stocks. I think all these things are efforts which we have done, and I think we have a wonderful team. Okay, we are a very large team. And we also now looking at how to use technology, right, to be able to augment further, because while it's still a game of skill, I think we have science to it, but if you bring technology to it, we can have one more dimension in terms of decision making when you're looking at a stock, not just on fundamentals, but also the technical factors. I think that can give a further edge to the fund managers in terms of decision making is what we think.
I always, at Voyage, use what is called as the newsroom indicator. It's an indicator which we use, which is one word which is most commonly used in a newsroom. A couple of years ago, it was China. 2020, of course, it was COVID. 2021, it was unlock. In 2023, the most commonly used term on our newsroom was actually small cap. So the question for this audience is, and all of us, and since it's an evolved audience here, is that you look at what is called a recency bias. Even though mutual fund mein likha rehta, past performance is no guarantee of future, but small cap performance will be tempting enough for everybody to latch on to that. Can you clarify and give your thoughts on where the small cap investing is moving for Birla AMC and what your thoughts on small caps are?
In India, we are at a zone wherein many of the large market caps globally, even the leaders of them are still in, say, small and mid cap spaces. And therefore, the general perception hai ki, small cap means there is a lot more risk, there is a lot more thing. And that is true. I mean, obviously, when we are talking about, say, 500 companies, there will be a lot more casualties than success stories, right? Compared to the top 100 companies. That is given. But then there are some very well-managed companies. Now, the trick really is ki what is already being priced in and what is out of favor, okay? And I think at this point of time, of course, a lot is getting priced in, but there are still pockets which are out of favor. Let me give you some sense as to where we think opportunities are there, which are in, say, small and mid cap. Let's start with your own industry, the media industry. Now, it might be surprising to many that the profit pool share of the media industry is actually lower than the market cap share of the media industry, okay? The last time I saw a similar construct in the private industry was the IT sector in 2017. Okay. Now, effectively, what people are saying is that media is a sector where the terminal value is zero. Now, I don't think that necessarily is the case. Okay, we are seeing a consolidation wave. We are seeing emergence of newer ways of consuming, but then it's also going back to the incumbents in some form and shape. So yes, there will be disturbance, there will be disruption, but that is the opportunity where people don't think that there is any terminal value. Same with consumer durables. You've seen 5 years where stocks have gone nowhere, but that also is an opportunity. So not everything is in a bubble zone. I think you have to pick and choose and bet big on areas which are currently out of fashion and where things are improving at the margin. And we do see a lot of those things also happen.
So Harish, Mahesh, thank you very much for joining us, and thank you for outlining everything for us.
Next week, we'll bring you more insights on Voyage 2024. Thank you so much for watching.